thank you again for coming. As you know, almost all workers contribute to Social Security every single paycheck all year long. Minimum wage workers contribute every single paycheck. But millionaires and billionaires in our country don't have to. In fact, there are a lot of them who stopped paying on January 1, stopped contributing to Social Security, and today marks the day that all those who are earning $1 million or more stop paying into Social Security. They get a bonus. Their take-home pay goes up for the rest of the year. And to mark this day, we have several reports, excellent reports that have come out that you'll be hearing about, and we have a number of champions of Social Security. One, the ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, who's been a longtime champion for seniors and Social Security, Senator Ron Wyden.
Oh, thank you. I was just sitting next to Senator Sanders at the Democratic caucus, so he's on his way. You're here at a very hectic time, and I'm also very pleased not just to be with Max, a wonderful advocate, but Congressman DeFazio, my Oregon partner in this effort, is here as well. And look, let me try to sum up where we are in terms of particularly Social Security and Medicare. It seems to me our job today is to say we are taking the gloves off, to say hands off Social Security for America's working families. And mention was made of the Senate Finance Committee. We're already picking up all kinds of broken promises that favor the well-to-do. For example, the new Secretary of Treasury said that he was for something called the Mnuchin Rule. And what he said that meant was there was going to be no net tax cut for the wealthy. Let me tell you, if you believe that one, there are plenty of bridges around to get a bargain on. I mean, it is an astounding kind of statement because, for example, in the last Medicare bill, you know, the Medicare tax that everybody pays on a paycheck. The Republicans wanted to cut the tax for just one group of people, and that was the most fortunate. So I'm really pleased to be with your champions, and I'm having to run off to the Intelligence Committee right now. We've got a couple of things going on, as you've probably seen from the newspapers on that front as well. But I just am proud to stand with all of you and your friends. I think this is a two-part drill. Number one, making sure nobody messes with the benefits people have now. And second, making sure that people who are fortunate to be at the top of the economic ladder pay their fair share into Social Security. It is high time. We're going to be on your side because this is a pledge that was made decades ago to working families and young people and seniors. And unlike the Mnuchin Rule, we're not going to let them break the Social Security promise. Thanks, everybody.
And Senator Wyden and the other Democrats understand that we should be expanding Social Security, not cutting it. There's a bill that's being introduced today in the Senate and in the House of Representatives, the Expand Social Security Act. It's being introduced in the House by Representative DeFazio, who will talk to you now. Thank you.
Ron didn't mention it, but we have a long history in Oregon. He was with the Great Panthers when I was at the University of Oregon doing graduate studies in a gerontology program that we had there. So we've both been working on these issues for decades. And I'm just thrilled today to partner with the lead sponsor, my friend Bernie Sanders, in the Senate on the Social Security Expansion Act. We already heard, if you're earning $1 million a year, today's the day you stop paying the FICA tax into Social Security. Now, that's, and as was said by Nancy, someone who works for modest wages or minimum wage, they're going to pay that tax every paycheck 52 weeks a year. And that's not right. And we have people saying, well, it's going broke. It's not going broke. 2034, if we do nothing, which this place is good at doing, benefits, they'll only have about probably 75% of what they need, maybe a little higher, to pay benefits on an ongoing basis. That means benefits would drop, guaranteed the benefits that people had by 25%, or other changes that have to be made. And on my side, I hear Paul Ryan talking about, well, we ought to just, people can retire later now. They all work. Do you ever talk to a logger, and say, oh, you're going to work till you're 70 years old in the woods? Yeah, if you're a professor or a billionaire investor, yeah, you can probably keep working, well past, age 68. But, that's not, or 67, there's I guess, full retirement now. And, that's not a way to fix it. I'd be, well, we'll just have to cut benefits. No, there's a simpler solution. If all Americans pay at the same rate into the fund, and the way we've structured our bill is between the current cap, 127, and 250, we're not going to increase the tax on those people, but the cap will keep going up, and ultimately it will hit the 250, and ultimately it will be all income of everybody. But at this point, by going over 250 and taxing that, and taxing unearned income over 250, the actuaries tell us that we would guarantee solvency for 60 years, which is as far as they'll look into the future. 60 years, full solvency, better benefits, because we have the CPIE, Cost of Living Index for elderly. It would have been 5 times what was granted this year under the regular Consumer Price Index. So that would be a tremendous benefit to many seniors. We're also going to adjust the way Social Security is calculated is a percentage return on your wages, and we're going to lift the number way up for low-income earners. So that on your first $900 a month of earnings, you're going to get a much higher rate of return, 92% in retirement. So that will raise wages or Social Security about $65 a month for low-income earners. And then finally, we're going to change the minimum benefit formula so more people will be eligible. And we're doing all this, and we're paying for it. We're not creating a penny of debt or deficit. It's a self-sustaining program. It's the best insurance program in the world. Young people say to me, well, it won't be there. Well, it won't be there if we neglect it. It will be there. It's a guarantee. It's an intergenerational compact. If we just make a few changes, when I explain the changes, they say, well, I'm all for that. Yeah. And then when you explain to them that they also get potential disability benefits, if they're a young family, they get survivor's benefits, try and go out and buy a policy or an annuity at the price people pay for Social Security and get those kind of benefits. So it is so worth saving this program, ensuring it for future generations, and giving all people who are dependent upon Social Security a little bit more income every year with an improved CPIE. So I'm thrilled to be here today with so many partners. I have a couple of, there's Elizabeth showed up, and some partners from the House. I just want to give a shout out. I mean, I shouldn't pick out one person, but Max Reitman and I, with the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, have schemed together so many times on so many different bills, but this is the best. So thanks very much. I appreciate your support.
Thank you, Representative DeFazio. We have several other champions who have walked in. Okay. And
I'm prettier, right?
so it doesn't need introduction. Another champion who knows we should be expanding Social Security is introducing a bill today to do that, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Well, I am Delighted to be here with all of our friends, many of whom have worked for years on this issue. And Nancy, thank you, and Social Security Works for all you have done. Here is the bottom line. The bottom line is that amidst massive income and wealth inequality, when the middle class is shrinking, when we got 43 million people living in poverty, when the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%, when half of older workers, this the American people don't get, half of older workers, do you know how much money they have in the bank as they prepare for retirement? Anyone know? Zero. You're 58 years of age, you've worked your whole life, and you got nothing in the bank as you prepare for retirement. And then you turn on television and you hear our Republican friends talking about how they really want to save Social Security. This is Orwellian language to cut Social Security, to cut benefits through a chained CPI, to lift the retirement age, or whatever. They want to cut Social Security. And then they go on and they say, which is another lie, is they say, well, look, of course we have to cut Social Security because we have a $19 trillion debt. We got to cut Social Security. But everybody in this room knows that Social Security hasn't added a nickel to the debt. It's tax breaks for billionaires and the war in Iraq and an inflated military budget. That, in fact, led to the high deficits and the national debt. Social Security hasn't added a nickel to the national debt. And then they say the only solution is to cut in one way or another. And that is also a profound lie. And as Nancy mentioned, Peter DeFazio, who's been a champion on this for his entire career, and I are introducing legislation today. Legislation that is supported by 51% of Republicans, overwhelming majority of Democrats, 71% of the American people. And you know what it says? We're going to lift the cap. And starting at $250,000 and going up, the top 1.5% will be paying more in taxes. And at a time of massive income inequality, that is appropriate. And what will we do with that additional revenue? We are going to extend the life of Social Security for 61 years. How's that? And we are going to expand benefits, not cut them. Under this legislation, seniors making less than $16,000 a year will see their benefits go up by about $1,300 every year. In Washington, this is sensible legislation. This is legislation supported by the overwhelming majority of the American people. Do not allow Republicans to lie. Social Security is not going broke. We do not have to cut benefits. We can expand benefits. We can extend the life of Social Security if we have the guts to tell the millionaires and billionaires, yes, they're going to have to pay a bit more in taxes. Thank you all very much.
It is great to be here today. It is good to be a part of democracy today because that's what we're here for. You bet. You know, President Trump made a lot of promises on the campaign trail about Social Security. And I want to read just one of them. He said, "We're going to save your Social Security without making any cuts. Mark my words." Well, believe me, we have marked your words because you are now giving us the biggest bait and switch in the history of democracy, and we're ready to fight back. We're ready to fight back. Donald Trump has already turned his back on his promise to protect Social Security. He has turned his back on millions of seniors. What's he doing? He has put Congressman Mulvaney in charge of the Office of Budget and Management. Are we ready for this? This is a man who says, hey, we just need to raise the retirement age to 70. Talk about a man who's never done any heavy lifting for work, right? He says, he says it's perfectly reasonable to cut Social Security. And his overall description of the Social Security system is that it is, and this is a quote, a Ponzi scheme. That's who Donald Trump put in charge of delivering a budget to the American Congress. He is now just been confirmed. The Republicans locked arms and said they would support this man to put forward the budget for the American people. Well, I'm here to say those budgets that cut Social Security will go down in flames. We will fight back. We will fight back. And we are here today to commemorate the day each year when all of the people who make $1 million a year are no longer making any more contribution to Social Security. Why are they no longer making any contribution to Social Security? Because once they've hit their cap, they can earn and earn and earn and pay less and less and less, which means that their contribution, their proportional share of being part of Social Security is smaller than that of everyone who gets up every day and gets out there and busts their tail in a job. Well, what we're here to say is America is better than that. American people are better than that. We want a Social Security system that works for all of America, not just for the billionaires. Let's face it, it's tough to live on Social Security alone. Social Security has not gone up, but the cost of prescriptions have gone up, rent's gone up, food's gone up. People pay more and more and are squeezed harder and harder. Social Security is our fundamental promise to each other that after a lifetime of hard work, that everyone in this country is entitled to retire with dignity. And it is with that basic principle that we will permit every American who works hard to retire with dignity, that we are here to stand up for Social Security, to protect Social Security, to expand Social Security for those who need it most. This is what democracy looks like. Thank you all for being here. You bet. You bet.